Are you ready? High voltage is upon us. Join our hosts, Chris and Sean, while they turn up the voltage.
Welcome back to Dadnarok High Voltage. This is Sean.
And it's Chris.
Boy, oh boy, it is December 10th, but Christmas came early.
I know, dude. We've been saying we've had nothing to talk about for months. And I think Disney has come to the rescue. What do you think?
I think they have. It wasn't Santa Claus. It was a mouse in some red shorts that
It was the old Bob. It was Mr. Iger. He came to the rescue.
So what the heck are we talking about? What are we talking about right now?
Well, Disney had their shareholders meeting today.
Yeah.
And dude, did they drop a ton of information, tons of dude. They came out swinging. Basically, they were looking at, other competitors, and they were just throwing haymakers at them. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Yeah. Disney has these shareholder corporate, they're almost like glorified corporate, conference calls where they just talk about, their profits and their growth. And every now and then, I remember the year The Last Jedi came out, Bob Iger was like, "Oh, The Last Jedi, it's a great movie," because that was coming out in December, right? Yeah. And that's about it. This year, though, just with the complete lack of content, lack of Comic-Cons and D3 and all this stuff to where you would be able to share all this, this news, they just used this format as a way to do it. And they almost did it like Apple style, where they did a live stream, had a bunch of their corporate folks, heads of these different departments within Disney talk on this green screen stage. And just make announcement after announcement. You and I couldn't even keep up. We couldn't watch it all.
Yeah, no, I watched it to a certain point, and I was like, okay, I've got to stop. I mean, for one, my phone was, even with it being plugged in, it was getting hot. Yeah. I was like, okay, I got to give it a break. And then I picked it back up, and was able to fast forward to another point where I was interested in.
Right,
but dude, it was one haymaker after another.
Yeah, and then it's like, how do we even talk about all this? It's like there were so much stuff that we could literally just talk about the Star Wars stuff that came out, and that would be a whole show. But easily. I feel like that would be short shifting some of the others. I mean, between Marvel and all the actual Disney stuff and all the news, I mean, we got to mention some of this other stuff too.
Yeah. Now, one big thing they said right out the gate, though, they are prioritizing straight to consumer.
Yeah.
So it's like they weren't very forefront about that. I wonder if they're not making the theater a priority anymore.
I don't know. It's tough to say. Yeah, they were very kind of nebulous and kind of hazy about what specifically cinematically is coming out to theaters, what it's going to be a dual release like HBO Max is doing, because Disney Plus has their own Premier Access thing.
Yeah,
where you pay like this, $25, $30 upcharge, and like they did with Mulan back a couple months ago. So they could theoretically do that for each and every big movie that's coming out, indefinitely if they wanted to.
Yeah, really.
So they weren't very specific about which ones they're doing that with and which ones they're not. The only one that I know for sure is that Raya the Last Dragon coming out in March. Yeah. It's a Disney animated film. They're doing the kind of the double release where it's going to be both Disney Plus, Premier Access, and coming to theaters.
Yeah, and I think the one I expected them to announce that they were doing was going to be Black Widow. But they were very adamant that is going to be another theater release.
Yeah. So that almost tells me that not all of these are going to be Premier Access. Maybe they are still kind of lending that olive branch to the theaters in some way, because if they're sticking their guns to a May 2021 release date when it was supposed to come out like this past May.
Yeah.
My assumption was that they were just going to put it on Disney Plus, and that we were going to hear that either sometime this month or next month. It would be, another Premier Access thing where they put it on Disney Plus, but that doesn't seem to be happening.
I mean, frankly, Black Widow, it'll be a fun movie, but in the grand scheme of things, in the world of Marvel, it's behind us.
That's true.
There's so many things going forward now. So I'm shocked that they didn't do that, just so they can actually keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about that real quick. What do you think? What did you think of the star? Because they're going to be adding that tile within the Disney Plus, where basically they're going to put all their adult rated content, like their
Not
in
like
there.
adult, not like X-rated.
Yeah. Well, like your Logans,
content.
your American Family, your Family Guys. You got to actually click on that, and not only did you click on it, but you got to put the password in again.
Well, they kind of glossed over this part too, and wasn't very specific. Star is typically outside the U.S. kind of thing. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be a feature here in the U.S.
The way I read it was Star Plus was going to be outside of the States.
Okay.
And Star was going to be within the States. Okay. Now, I could be wrong on that because, like you said, they weren't very clear, but there would. I don't think there'd be a reason why they'd put a Star Plus and then a Star. Essentially, it'd be the same product, but one is outside of the U.S. and one within.
I'm not sure. I just know that they do need to find a home with all of the content that's more adult related. I mean, Die Hard. It's a 20th Century Fox film. It needs to stream somewhere. They technically own all this stuff now, and all this stuff is Disney property, but you can't just shelve it because it's not kid stuff.
Oh yeah, no. In the presentation, they showed Die Hard.
Yeah,
Die Hard was one of the ones there. So I've got all the
Alien
confidence.
Franchise. I don't even know if it's on this list that we're about to go through, but they're creating it.
The Alien franchise. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but they're turning that into a show.
Yeah, and Ridley Scott is attached as a creative consultant, and
what? And it's all going to take place on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was
that
like,
in itself, dude. Every news piece is worth discussion in itself, but they just dropped literally dozens. There's too many.
It just kept falling. I mean, for instance, they started out the gate and they were like, okay, so we have 10 Star Wars titles, 10 Marvel titles, 15 Disney titles, and 15 Pixar titles.
Right.
And I'm thinking, holy God. And then didn't even really get into like the TV shows, like non-specific ones, like the Mighty Ducks and the Rescue Rangers and Turner and Hooch. I mean, these are shows that are, and
dude, they're literally making a Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie. I can't wait to take Verona to see that. I'm gonna be nuts. I'm gonna be like, oh, I used to love this show. And that's the funny thing about, let's see, HBO Max, Wonder Woman 84 Christmas Day. Yep, you're right. But we ain't talking DC and HBO Max. We are talking Disney and Marvel and all the news that just dropped.
Talking to the heavyweight champion here, just walked in, just some swagger.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a bunch of news that dropped over the last few hours, and you and I are looking at the same source here. I guess we'll just kind of give a rundown. But you already mentioned just the amount of Disney and Star Wars stuff they're doing. Let's run down this, kind of in sections here. We'll start off with the Marvel stuff. What did you see? What did you like?
I was blown away by Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know it was something I wanted to watch. I was looking forward to watching it. But when I finally got the trailer, the first exclusive look to it, I couldn't stop watching. I mean, just the interaction between Falcon and Winter Soldier. Their names I'm forgetting them off the top of my head here. But just seeing those two react, walking down, gears in his head burning and all that but seeing him just like, what's the plan? And he said, and he just falls out the plane. So there is no plan. Okay. I mean,
yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know. We're streaming live. Should we share some of this content?
Let's go for it. Let's just play the trailer.
All right. Let's let me start from the beginning here. Let me share screen.
Because it was so good. And they said it was going to be a 6-episode, hour-long, basically mini movie.
Yeah. All right. Can you hear it?
Got it.
The legacy of that shield is complicated. The world is upside down.
Who are they?
People need something to get behind. They need the symbol. So what's our plan? No plan. Great.
Dude, look at that.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, this is a TV show. This is not on the big screen.
What's going on in that cyborg brain of yours?
You don't want to know.
Oh, yeah, I can see it working. Gears turning. Oh, they're malfunctioning. They're on fire.
God, I hate you.
Oh, that in March. Oh, dude, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something. I was waiting. The rumor has it is Bucky actually takes up the mantle of Captain America. I don't know why.
I would feel weird about that since Cap himself, Steve Rogers, gave it to Falcon, but I guess we'll see the story. I mean,
There's
I
got to
trust
be
the
something.
storytellers.
Yeah, there's got to be something behind it.
Yeah.
But I was waiting to see something. I was waiting to see someone pick up the shield. They were talking about they needed the symbol.
Yeah.
And they didn't give it to us. They're making us want more. They know what they're doing. They're inciting this conversation.
Yeah. So this turns out it's going to be 6-hour-long episodes, almost like a mini series kind of thing. So
Yeah, they called it a mini movie, I think, actually in the conference of 6. Yeah, and I think a lot of people's concern with them doing a lot of things like this is we won't get the actual big budget like we would say a Star Wars or if this wasn't a theater. I'm not concerned with that because that was one thing that they were trying to put your mind at ease. I think they knew that was out there because they kept on saying over and over and over again how it's going to be the same quality and you're not going to know the difference between one that's released in the theater and one that's going to be released on Disney Plus.
Right. So yeah, Falcon, Winter Soldier, it was supposed to be out already, I think, and they had some delays due to COVID, and that's the reason why it's funny because this entire year we've just kind of been giving Disney Plus a little bit of crap, just from like, oh, Disney Plus, I pay $7 a month so I can watch The Mandalorian.
The repeats. No.
Yeah, the repeats, and it's like they've had some other shows like that Jeff Goldblum show, but nothing like as promised to like the Marvel stuff, and then today they just like alleviate all those worries and okay, you wanted content, here it is.
Yeah, here it comes. You better be ready. Buckle in.
Yeah,
you're gonna get just one after another. Right when you're done one series, the next one's gonna start up. And the biggest critic, I've been a biggest critic of them when it came to they weren't prepared for what happened when the first season of Mandalorian ended.
Yeah,
that was the biggest problem. And now they have this coming in here. No. What? Hold on. We got to stop the train real quick. You watch Cinderella. No Cinderella. Mandalorian. No.
You can watch anything you want, John.
That's hilarious. But man, I'm that one I've been excited for, and I am even more so excited for now.
Yeah.
But what was one that caught your eye?
Well, let's see. Marvel related. I saw, honestly, the Marvel related was stuff towards the end of the entire presentation, so I didn't catch a lot of it. I did see the Winter Soldier and Falcon clip. I did see the Loki clip, which I thought was kind of neat. I thought that was kind of cool. That's going to be a fun ride, whatever that ends up being. It's
going to be Loki, and it's going to be weird, and he's going to have snide jokes, and as long as he's Loki.
Right.
It can't fail. and it would be pretty funny. And now see, they've already said everything is intertwined.
Yeah.
So what if we did see Thor in some manner?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because if he's in an alternate type timeline, Thor is there in some manner. So if they crossed it, I don't know. I want to see how
Chris Hemsworth come in for a few hours one day just to shoot one scene, and I don't know. Should we play the Loki thing or what?
You know what? Why not? That's flags. We're talking about it. It's weird. It's 100% Loki.
Yeah,
and let's roll with it. Let's see.
All right, let's see if we still have audio.
Good. This is fun right here. When he watched it kicked around in the whole deal.
Yeah. So this was in Endgame.
That right there, like, hold on, what?
Did you wake up on Tatooine?
Yeah. Where's the two sons? I like the confusion in his eyes.
He's so confused.
You're taking me somewhere to kill me.
No, I'm taking you someplace to talk.
Yeah, I don't like to talk.
But you do like to lie, which you just did. Because we both know you love to talk. Talky.
How long have you been here?
I don't know, it's hard to say. You know, time passes differently here in the TVA.
What does that mean?
You'll catch up.
Yeah, what is the TVA? Where is the TVA? Is it upside down?
Glorious. Brother, I'm down. You'd better be ready.
Oh! So he was going somewhere else and the rainbow sucked him up.
Come on. What's he doing?
Running for election. The big Loki buttons. Dude, that just looks fun. I don't know what to really think of it, but it looks fun.
It does look fun. It looks trippy, man. I mean, between Wanda Vision and Loki, they are just putting out some cerebral stuff that you're gonna have to pay attention to.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to sit there with your phone. You're gonna have to lock in because if you drift too much, you're gonna be lost real fast.
So they also announced Ms. Marvel, which I guess will be a character that will tie into the Captain Marvel sequel.
Yeah, apparently that's a comic book right now about a little girl. I think she said like maybe 13, 14, a younger girl that becomes, Ms. Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, it ties into, Captain Marvel 2. And so this here, she's, I think, going to play a big part, going forward with the actual Marvel universe.
Yeah. What about, just quick blurbs about Eternals, about Hawkeye, which I know is filming now. I've actually seen some on-set photos of them filming the Hawkeye series. She-Hulk, you learned a little bit about the She-Hulk series they're making.
Yeah, She-Hulk actually sounds fun. Like, I'll be the first to say I'm a little skeptical of She-Hulk. Because, she's going to be trying to blend into everyday life. And, she's a lawyer, so she's green, like Hulk. She's 6'5". They said they actually give a specific size, and she's in law for superheroes. So anything like that's happening that the superheroes are being charged with, she's actually the one that is like defending them in essence.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo is going to be in it, so we're going to see Hulk, and we're going to see the return of Abomination. Yeah,
Tim Roth's Abomination from the Incredible Hulk film that Mark Ruffalo wasn't even in.
No, that was Edward Norton Jr.
Ed Norton,
yeah. So he's coming from a different version of it, but I was like, God, that was pretty cool because his character was awesome.
Look, we just got to round out this Marvel news here. We're already 20 minutes in. We still have a ton of to talk about. So,
oh man,
So Nick Fury series that's going to revolve around the Secret Invasion. If you're a comic book reader like I am, I read the Secret Invasion. I thought it was insane. Skrulls, basically that race that we saw in the Captain Marvel movie, the green aliens with wrinkly in the ears. They're able to change their appearance and look human. There was a Secret Invasion in the comics where all the Marvel heroes, they didn't know who was who or if any of them were actually dead and actually Skrulls. Bunch of like paranoia, mistrust between heroes and even villains. Great like series in the comic books. For them to adapt that into a Nick Fury series, very cool.
Don
See.
Cheadle's getting his own with War Machine.
Yeah,
Armor Wars, which is crazy.
Yep.
Baby Groot's getting his own little thing.
Baby Groot and a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. They announced they're definitely doing Fantastic Four. Not much news, just kind of a logo that they put out.
Nothing. They just they said they're going back to the original Marvel family.
Yeah.
And then they dropped the 4 on you, and that's all it gave us.
Boy, Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's going to be another Ant-Man. Let's see. Spider-Man 3.
Blade. Christian Bale's going to be the bad guy in Thor and Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, yep.
I was like, Christian Bale's getting added to that? That's a pretty sizable name to be adding.
Playing a character called Gore the God Butcher. Blade is coming together. Ant-Man. We've heard a lot about the Spider-Man 3 that's coming out. Those were actually news stories earlier this week that it looks like it's going to be a Spider-Verse kind of movie because
I'm down for that. I would like to see them pull like all these different actors that played Spider-Man.
Yeah, like we're going to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and a bunch of villains like Doc Ock, like Alfred Molina's Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Which may be Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire and Doc Ock might actually be one of my favorite Spider-Man films so far out of all of them. But for them to do a Spider-Verse thing, and what I did know or what I heard from Kevin Feige is that we have Wanda Vision with Scarlet Witch, and events in Wanda Vision correlate directly to the Doctor Strange sequel that they're filming. Yeah. And the Doctor Strange sequel that they're filming have events that correlate directly to Spider-Man 3. So I
love that.
Yeah, that tells me they're dimensions, alternate dimensions is what they're doing. And that's how we probably get into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, no, I love how they connect everything, and I hate it at the exact same time because I can see me get
said. Yeah, you were like you didn't want him to do it.
Yeah, no, because eventually I'm going to wind up getting burnt out again. But they're going to have their hooks so deep in me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. I mean, they're giving me this little taste. The first taste is free, and then I can't get away from it.
Final Marvel news is that they're not going to recast T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman. I suppose they're just going to write his character out and center the Black Panther sequel around the characters, his supporting characters from that film. With Wakanda and his sister Shuri and everything like that, which was almost a sigh of relief because I didn't want them to recast T'Challa with another actor. I don't know if it would have been appropriate, just of how much that role meant to him and how good he was in it. I think that should be an enduring legacy to where you think Black Panther, T'Challa, you just think Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. No, there was a lot of people that were on the fence.
Yeah,
because there's so much more that we could learn from T'Challa,
right?
They didn't have the ability to get into because of the passing. His passing.
But Wakanda is so fleshed out. Like you can absolutely make a sequel that'll be as good with just the other characters that are in that world.
I mean, we can go with just that tribe that lives up in the mountains.
Yeah,
I mean that would be. I mean, why did they wind up there? Why were they secluded? What led to the rift?
Right
before the mending offenses at the end of Black Panther. So
guys, that's it. And a lot of these titles we barely spoke about, but I mean that's what we're dealing with today. We're 24 minutes into our live stream and we've only talked about Marvel stuff.
And we say that's it, like that's it. No, like you said, there's just way too much. Our brains are on full overload.
Oh, I'm sure we probably missed some stuff. We didn't really talk about What If, the animated series. Like there's more, guys, search it for yourselves after the stream, of course.
Yeah.
And check out anything that we may have missed. So let's move on
to the stuff that I was super pumped about.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I love Marvel, but everyone that knows anything about us, I'm a Star Wars nerd in the heart. I can't help it.
Major Star Wars news broke. We got to talk about it.
So where do you want to start with this? Do you want to start with the titles that were coming out and kind of roll through the titles real quick, then kind of pick on one that jumps at us?
Yeah, so Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy came out and started talking about the Lucasfilm efforts, starting with, of course, Star Wars is the biggest one. There's going to be two, how she described them, two Mandalorian spin-off shows, one of which being Ahsoka, which you and I thought was a big possibility.
I was hoping, and I'm so used to them not.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to build it up and then just not give it to us.
Yeah, and you and I mean, it was very strange for them to cast an actor like Rosario Dawson, as big as she is, and just for like one episode of one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have just given that to Ashley Eccleston, the one who did the voice all those years. But as soon as they announced that Rosario Dawson was Ahsoka, it was pretty apparent that they had more in plan, more planned out for her.
I think I misspoke earlier before we went live here. Rosario Dawson is in obviously Ahsoka, but I think she plays another character, which I don't think is Ahsoka, in another Disney Plus show that they announced today. So
is it the Rangers of the New Republic? That's the other one, the Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, she's tied to two.
Okay.
So so first, it may be Rangers because they gave us the list of stars in it.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense if she was Ahsoka, and if she's within the Star Wars world. But when I seen that, my heart sunk a little.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, they're not gonna give us, Ahsoka, because why would they put her in two shows like that?
Right.
And then right afterwards, like I was ready for something else. I was ready for a Bo-Katan,
yeah,
or a Thrawn, or something down those lines. When I was worried that we weren't going to get Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then they dropped the Ahsoka. And I think I was outside with my dogs. I think I yelled, I threw out a yippee or something.
A yippee! Oh Lord!
Yippee skippy!
Okay, so an Ahsoka show. The only thing we know, Rosario Dawson's back, and it takes place around the same time frame that the Mandalorian is. And that's really all we know.
Sense with this is it has to revolve around Thrawn. So that means it has to revolve around Ezra, and it has to have the other Mandalorian, what's her name? Sabine.
Oh, Sabine, yeah, we better.
It has to have those cast of characters in it.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be together. I mean, obviously right now, Sabine could be off doing her own thing, following another lead.
Right.
And Ahsoka was, down there trying to find, what she was doing. So on Tython. No, it wasn't Tython. I'm not sure the plan off the top of my head, but.
So that's really all we know as far as Ahsoka. They announced really a title just called The Rangers of the New Republic. And the New Republic is where we're at in the timeline. It's post-Empire. So I assume it kind of takes place in that same period of time between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
What do you think of this here? The wording of it. Rangers of the New Republic. What is Cara Dune?
Yeah, I think there's a good shot of it.
I think she's going to be the one that's going to be centered around, and she's going to be like the main ranger of the group.
Yeah. And it tells me that's probably a little more related to, when you say the New Republic, are we going to see Mon Mothma, that character? Are we going to see?
I believe they casted her. Yeah. I think she was one of the ones that were actually, when they were saying castings, I think absolutely.
Yeah. I know she's on the Cassian Andor show because she's the one that's played Mon Mothma in these movies. Ever since Revenge of the Sith, I think she was in there.
She's one of my least favorite characters, though.
Mon Mothma. Yeah. I think it's just cool to see the character. She's like a bridge.
Well, yeah. I think she's probably one of the most naive characters.
See, you get down with your knowledge. Where you and me start talking about Mon Mothma, you go down.
We're turn people off.
The people that were are listening to us, they're like, "Huh? Who's that?" Yeah. But anyway, Rangers of the New Republic. I think you're right. That's probably gonna star Cara Dune. And I was just thinking, what if it's more related to bigger workings of the New Republic, like Coruscant and the government? And I think in a show like that, as opposed to The Mandalorian, you may have a better chance of seeing people like Luke, Leia, Han, like people that are revolved in the dealings of the New Republic.
I think they want to stay away from that, though.
Yeah, I don't I don't think you're going to have like a recasting, like, okay, well, this new person is playing Leia. I don't think you're going to see that, but I do think that you're going to hear about
Name
them.
drop.
You're going to hear name drops. You're going to see, somebody maybe off in the distance, like you can't really make out who they are.
Just
and
standing
like,
there in like a white type setup, and you can connect the dots, but
Right.
they never turn around, or their name is said, or things down those lines.
Right. We got an order come in from General Leia, that kind of thing.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
The bigger picture for me is I would rather them move away from this era. Like, I want to get away from the Skywalker era.
I'm surprised, honestly, how much we're still hovering around the Skywalker saga. I knew, the Mandalorian was going to be tied. I knew this Cassian Andor, and of course, we haven't even talked about it yet. Obi-Wan, that's been in the mix for so long.
Massive news.
But the fact that we're getting more like, this Ranger show, I couldn't tell if it was a movie or a series. I guess a movie. Patty Jenkins is going to direct a movie centered around the Rogue Squadron.
Mhm.
But let's just go in order here. So I think we talked enough about these two spinoffs, as much as we know here. And let's dive into a couple of the animated ones here. They're doing the Bad Batch, which I almost knew when they had those characters.
They were setting it up, yeah.
Yeah, they were setting up.
Then he had one of the actual clones leave with him. I forget his name.
Is it Echo?
Echo, yeah.
Yeah.
Echo left with him. So we're going to have Echo amongst the other ones that are going to be doing their own thing.
Yeah, they were introduced in the final season of the Clone Wars that premiered on Disney Plus about a year ago now, I guess. It's been a bit.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so the Bad Batch. This was one of my favorite trailers, actually, watching this. Should we take a peek at this one?
Let's go for it. I'm all about some Bad Batch.
You're
Long
one
as bad
Bad
cookies. Every batch cookies are good. Even bad cookies.
They call themselves the Bad Batch.
The Republic will be reorganized.
This was cool.
Into the first galactic empire.
That had to been right about Order 66.
Yeah. That was dialogue lifted from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah, they're showing them fight clones.
That was quite an impressive display.
The little Tarkin drop there is awesome. Yeah,
Like, come on, dude.
That's fun. Now I'm gonna drop this on you guys. So I dropped it on Sean, and then I got the eyes-boggling reaction. What if we know Grogu or Baby Yoda was in the temple when Order 66 took place? We know it's already been confirmed that's where he was.
Right.
Someone removed him from the temple and basically saved him from Anakin cut down all the younglings, because he would have been one of the ones that's kind of laying on the floor, even though he's only about
He's baby,
foot and a half from the floor.
even more of a baby.
Yeah. So what if it was the Bad Batch guys who removed him from the temple and got him out of there? So we'll see an animated version of Grogu while he was leaving, and that's how they connect this story to the bigger picture.
When you said that, I was like, well, of course. That's definitely. Actually, I'll be kind of disappointed if it wasn't that somehow, because it just seems so cool to me. Like, I'm a huge fan, and I talked about the Bad Batch when you and I kind of reviewed the last season of the Clone Wars. I thought the Bad Batch as a group of characters is very cool. Christopher, I think we'll see how clone troopers were officially washed out and Empire moved to stormtroopers. Maybe. I mean, it depends on how long this Bad Batch actually runs. That would be pretty cool. When you said that, I was like, man, that would be great, because to drop a nugget of information that Grogu was actually, on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple during the time of Order 6. That's a big block of information.
Nothing is done on accident here. Even on finding out there's butterflies, there's connections to like Vader in the comics when he's actually having an out-of-body experience, and they're around him as well.
Yeah.
So nothing, everything is done on purpose. Everything is laid out. They're working 5, 6, 7 steps in advance.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to try to connect the dots and get all giddy about it. And then if it happens, great. I mean, I would love, once I thought of that, I was like, you know what? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
If that is how, because he got out, someone had to have physically gotten him out.
Right.
And they're the only ones that make sense. They're the only ones that don't have the chip.
Yeah.
So if everything's going down and they see things going down, them grabbing him and taking off makes perfect sense.
Just the premise of this is gold. I mean, how enjoyable was it to watch, Captain Rex and Ahsoka defend themselves against just, a ship full of clone troopers that, their switch had been flipped and they were attacking them. That was awesome in itself. Imagine you're the Bad Batch, you don't have that chip anymore, or if it's malfunctioned or whatever, and you're on a planet, you're on Coruscant, you're on ground zero here. The Emperor is there. Anakin is there, chopping down younglings. I mean, you're a ground zero of Order 66, and they're surrounded by, newly formed enemies now. That just in itself is like, oh my God, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, no, it's I'm the more I talk about it, the more I'm pumping myself up, and the more I may be letting myself down.
We'll see. It looks very cool though.
Well, let me see. We have that. What's next? What's next? I mean, like I said, there is so much.
Well, they also, as far as Lucasfilm and the Star Wars stuff, they kind of dropped a new thing called Star Wars Visions, where they're going to do some like alternate, like anime style animation, which sounds kind of.
That was interesting when they were going to go the anime style.
Yeah,
that caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that.
We're going to have another animated series called Droids or Droid Story.
Yeah. Now, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, they've already kind of dabbled in this a little bit.
Yeah.
There was like each of the actual stories, you knew what kind of story you were getting because the Clone Wars was in different colors.
Yeah.
So if you got a blue, like Clone Wars, you knew you were getting a droid story.
Yeah.
So there was a handful of those, and it's probably gonna be right down the same lines.
There's going to be a show called The Acolyte about a Sith in the era of the High Republic, or towards the final days of the High Republic, which is at least a few hundred years before. I think it was hundreds of years, because I think Yoda potentially is a character in this High Republic era. But it takes place before the Skywalker saga, and it's going to be from the point of view of a Sith, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not just a Sith. I think it's like before the rule of 2. So, I mean, we may see the war that took place that, knocked them down to just 2.
Right.
There was that big, I'm not sure the planet, my knowledge on that is a little vague, believe it or not. But there was a big, almost like a civil war amongst these people, and it knocked them down to just those amounts. So we may see that, and then what starts infiltrating what we know of, our time within Star Wars.
Yeah, and one final, a couple. I mean, let's not bury the lead here. Well, hold on. I'll talk. We got 2 more Star Wars titles left here. I'll just mention I'm excited about something I didn't hear about before today. Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, is going to be directing a new Star Wars film called Rogue Squadron, which Rogue Squadron was a series of novels and books that I latched onto post Return of the Jedi when I was gearing up my Star Wars fandom in the late 90s, 98, 99. Basically a ragtag group of rebel pilots led by Wedge Antilles that were handling business post Return of the Jedi and all throughout the original trilogy that Luke Skywalker would sometimes be the leader of, sometimes not, because he was off doing his Jedi thing in the movies.
There's in the new certain point of view in The Empire Strikes Back, there was just literally a story about Rogue Squadron.
Awesome.
It was basically when after the battle of on Hoth, you know how Luke actually goes back to see Yoda.
Yeah.
And he disappears. Well, they thought he was dead. So they have Wedge take over as a new commander. and he is torn because he doesn't want to leave, and that is actually Luke's squadron.
Right.
And he almost was going to go ahead and rename it back to Red Squadron and not use Rogue.
Right.
And then he decided to run, the role of the Rogue Squadron. And it goes to him training all these new pilots, how they were never in combat. And, they were thrown out there because they had to.
Yeah.
And just the progression of this, new squadron. And then Luke, of course, shows back up, and it's, he's back in the mix. But it was fun to actually see and listen to, the inner, like, how torn he was by taking that commander when he didn't want to say Luke was gone.
Yeah. I've always loved Rogue Squadron. I've loved the character of Wedge Antilles, how he was almost as good of a pilot as Luke. And, he wasn't a Jedi. He didn't have the Force. He was just a damn good pilot.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, Top Gun in the Star Wars galaxy. It sounds great to me. I love the games. I mean, playing the games on N64, GameCube. That's right. So I can't, and Patty Jenkins directing, apparently she's got a love. I watched a little video you and I both did. She apparently, her dad was a fighter pilot, so she gets to, cobble together two loves of Star Wars and fighter pilots into one venture for her. So she's super pumped about it.
Yeah, I was mixed at first. I'll be honest, because we're like I said earlier, we're still within that same time frame. But if I want to know if it can revolve around what they just told in a certain point of view, because I think the story in certain point of view being released now, and this now being released, once again, there's no coincidence in this.
Right.
This is all tied together. So if we get the story of, if this happens when Luke does go to Dagobah.
Yeah.
And it shows the whole story about how they reform Rogue One, because there was really none of them left.
Right.
Those two of them. And I'm not counting Luke because Luke was gone. So there was actually only two pilots, Wedge and I don't know the guy's name.
Maybe Dak or something. Whoever was Wedge's co-pilot during
the all. So they had to reform them all.
Yeah.
So if that's the story, I'm pumped, because I could not turn off that story when I was in the car.
Right.
So I mean, we don't know anything about it.
I think you're gonna love it, because it's gonna be Space Force, basically. It's gonna be it's gonna be. So I don't know. Look, I don't know for sure that it's going to be the Rogue Squadron that I'm used to with Wedge Antilles. I mean, if they do, of course, they're going to have to recast, because Dennis Lawson, he came back for the latest, Rise of Skywalker, but the guy's in his 60s. I don't think he's going to do Disney Plus series. Yeah. But I would love to see a movie like that. But beyond that, okay. So finally, last but certainly not least, as far as Star Wars goes, we learned that Obi-Wan's coming. Ewan McGregor's back. It's going to take place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So kind of right smack in the middle between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And the news that we got today confirmed, Hayden Christensen will be back playing Darth Vader.
Dude, like I said, I'm getting chills as you're talking. What do you say, Darth Vader?
Yeah.
And we're going to see him when he's young. We're gonna see the actual,
and I have to stop myself every time I say Hayden Christensen. I'm just used to Anakin Skywalker rolling off my tongue, because that's all we've associated him with. But this time, I mean, he is full-fledged Darth Vader. Like, he's not Anakin.
Yeah, no. This is gonna be him at his height,
right?
I mean, when he's channeling everything, and he's just swinging for the fences,
right?
I want to know how it's gonna be used.
Yeah, that's the mystery.
Like, how is this going to go down? Is it going to be? I don't even know how to speculate, honestly, because we don't even really know what Obi-Wan's going to be up to. Because we know he's going to be keeping a distance from Luke, and I mean, he's going to have his own run-ins with Tusken Raiders and whatever else is going on. I want to see Force ghosts of Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
I want to hear Qui-Gon. I want Force ghosts of Qui-Gon. I want him to continue to teach him how to become a Force ghost, how to channel, that side of the Force.
How does Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan learn those tricks that Alec Guinness Obi-Wan uses in the original trilogy? How does he do that?
because that was Yoda's
will
last.
we see him? Will we see him like communicate over the Force to Yoda, or will he be? Because all I know of this time period is all the limited information that they supplied to us within the original trilogy. And to my knowledge, both Yoda and Obi-Wan really kept a low profile, almost like Grogu did. You know, he didn't use the Force.
Yeah.
When old Ben started to, use the Force again, it was really only when
and Vader could feel his presence the minute he did it. I don't think there'll be any Force connection between Yoda and Obi-Wan just for that reason alone.
Yeah. So it has to be really delicate how they handled this series because of how and when it takes place. All this time, I think we're really meant to think that Obi-Wan, we see him at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He hands baby Luke off to Owen Lars, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. And we're just supposed to assume that he just, lives in the desert as a hermit for another 20 years until A New Hope starts. But there are little nuggets to spend for me. I mean, Darth Vader, he says, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Like, are they going to actually share the same space again? Are they going to interact with each other? Or that time period between Mustafar and the Death Star, do they interact at all during there's so many questions, dude. I don't know.
think there's any way they can have any type of connection at all. Because if they have any connection, I think Vader would then start hunting him down, and then within the Force and with Palpatine be able to find out, like, hold on, he's protecting something.
The only line of dialogue is actually from Return of the Jedi that would hint towards some other interaction. When Luke is trying to convince on the second Death Star, when Luke is trying to convince Vader that, I feel the good in you, Anakin Skywalker was once my father, and I feel the good with you, you let go of your anger, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Darth Vader, he turns around and he's like, Obi-Wan once thought as you do, and you don't know the power of the dark side. We never seen Obi-Wan think that Anakin could come back. We just saw the fight.
Yeah.
We just saw the two of them being in the throes. Being pissed off at each other. We never saw Obi-Wan being like, I see the good in you, come back and implore him the way Luke does in Return of the Jedi. So that one bit of dialogue maybe tells me that there was maybe one other interaction that we never saw, never heard about. But
before he went into isolation.
Yeah.
Like basically after Padme has the babies.
Yeah.
There's something that took place before that.
And something that makes Obi-Wan so sure that Anakin was dead, like there was no Anakin, because we see him be kind of a tortured soul in Revenge of the Sith, and like, you were my brother, and he does walk away from him. But by the time we get to Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan, he's more machine now than man. He's twisted, he's evil. The man that I thought was your father, Anakin, but he's dead. You know what I mean? So he's definitely set. It's something. It feels like there's something else going on that would set Obi-Wan to that height point of being like, no, Anakin's gone. I don't know.
Back to the matter that he knows it's Anakin. It says something by itself. So there had to have been something that went ahead and verified to him that's who it was.
That man in black is Anakin Skywalker.
Because when he turned his back and walked away, he was burning. He thought
he was leaving him for dead. Yeah.
So there has to be something that takes place, some interaction, something going on that he then realizes, hey, this is Anakin, but it's no longer Anakin.
I mean, it's just the fact that Hayden is back tells me something's going to happen.
Yeah. It's nothing that's going to be an afterthought character.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The speculation can run rampant, but we'll just go from there. But that's it as far as Star Wars news. And that was a bunch, man.
Did you miss that? Did we talk Andor?
No, we didn't even talk about that. That's the one that's coming up the soonest. Honestly, that's probably looks like it's filming now, or if not quite done, almost done filming. And that should be towards the first part of 2021, I believe.
Let me see. March.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna be sometime soon. I mean, there may be when another one's going on, but yeah. I mean, that's another one that's I really enjoy Rogue One. That's as a standalone story in the Star Wars universe. Like Rogue One, I love. I love how it's final. I love how there's no continuation, of anything within that. So this kind of breaks that for me a little bit. But the fact that they say, and man, they've done things for the rebellion, and now we're going to learn and see what they were actually doing for the rebellion.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I wasn't excited about an Andor series, Cassian Andor, because it's like we know his final fate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do we really need a series that revolves around a guy that we know is dead by the time of New Hope? Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be a prequel, and do we need this guy's backstory? But when I saw the sizzle reel that they put out, and it's directed by the guy who did like the Bourne series, the Bourne Identity, and it's going to take place, you know, with these rebels it's a bit grittier, it's a bit darker, you know, the rebels and a rebellion really getting their hands dirty. I looked at the stuff in the action and the spy games, and I was like, okay, well, this might be a show that I can get into.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, like you said, we know the the end game here.
Yeah.
But just getting into what he meant by he has done things for the rebellion,
right?
And he can't like take these things back. So what were these things? What terrible things were these? The rebels, which I mean, essentially, with the Empire, they were calling them terrorists.
Yeah.
So what were they doing? They got them to that point. But I think that's now the last piece of Star Wars,
right? Oh well, one more as far as Lucasfilm. Besides Star Wars, they're doing a Willow series. Willow is a film that Lucasfilm did back in the '80s with Val Kilmer, and it was kind of magic and sorcery kind of thing. I don't think I've ever seen the full story, but they're making a continuation of it. So there you go, Willow. Yeah, and once again, they're teasing an Indiana Jones 5, which I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know.
Whenever that happens,
years. Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to put it out on this big drop day, I mean, they've got to be confident in it.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. I mean, I think you and I really kind of discussed the main things that we really wanted to discuss. All this is like icing on the cake, the stuff that's specifically Disney related. You and I, and we both saw, and this was a film series that was kind of near and dear to our hearts as kids, but they're making a continuation series of the Mighty Ducks TV show.
Yeah. Did you see Emilio Estevez?
Emilio Estevez, yeah.
Dude, he looks like straight up dad bod. I mean, he looks like he's like
in his 60s. That's granddad bod.
He's had one too many marshmallows at this point. He's become a marshmallow.
Oh my Lord. You're gonna make fun of some 60-year-old guy for putting on some weight since the 1990s.
Absolutely am.
Was he a cake eater?
Yeah, I like it. Awesome. No, that looks great. It looks like you have a whole nother version of the Hawks happening. All the
yeah, but this time it's the Ducks. Apparently, the Ducks have gotten so good that they're like not fun anymore.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So they flipped that on its head.
Yeah,
which is fun. I'm down. I mean, I'm gonna watch. There's no way I'm not watching that one.
Yeah, I'll be watching that.
A new Ice Age film. Do you see that one?
I did. Yeah.
Between the two like possum type things, and it's just like they're spinoffs. So they're not gonna have the main characters we're used to, but that looks like it could be fun.
Why not? I mean, that was not a Disney property. I guess it was 20th Century Fox that put those. It had to be because, Ice Age was like a competitor cartoon series, but now they own it. So why the heck not?
Gonna eat everything up.
Yeah.
I know.
A Turner and Hooch series. Look, I loved Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks, where he was a cop that had that dog, and it was like from 1988. It was like an old film, but I guess they're making a series out of that.
I know Zach's gonna be pumped about the Diary with Wimpy Kids. He's into those books. We read them. We don't read them enough, but he's gonna enjoy that one. But I mean, this
Beauty and the Beast prequel. Josh Gad and basically Gaston and LeFou, they're going to be in a prequel series of Beauty and the Beast. I didn't know how I felt about that. I don't think that's necessary.
No, not really. I mean.
A remake of Three Men and a Baby with Zac Efron.
Yeah.
They confirmed Hocus Pocus 2, which we kind of saw coming from a mile away.
Being confirmed, non-confirmed for a while.
Yeah. An animated Night at the Museum movie. A bunch of sport films. And you might know about these guys. Chris Paul, Giannis. I can't even say
Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak. I'll just put it that way. He's got the Greek Freak.
Did that do anything for you? Those three athlete movies that they're looking at?
I'm maybe interested in the Chris Paul one. Giannis, he's still so current.
Yeah,
I'm not really interested in that, and he's not really even an interesting person. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think he does that on it's purposely done.
Yeah.
He's not big in the media. He's not big in front of the camera. When he's in front of the camera, he's just kind of dull.
Right.
It's just he's essentially the Mike Trout of basketball. And Mike Trout is the exact same way. He shies away from the camera. He's probably the best baseball player.
Yeah.
But he doesn't search for the limelight.
Well, Disney seems to think he has a very interesting story to tell, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're doing a live action /CG of the Chippendale Rescue Rangers with John Mulaney and Andy Samberg voicing Chippendale.
I'm down.
I'm down too, man. I love my decent Disney afternoon.
Rescue Range.
Anyway, yeah, that's another one. I would love to take Verona to go see that. Hopefully, when if movie theaters ever are a thing again,
if they ever come back.
Amy Adams is going to come back for a sequel to Enchanted called Disenchanted. I actually liked Enchanted quite a bit. That's one of Verona actually sat down and watched that, which I didn't think she would because it has to do with a quote like a Disney princess, but it's all live action. But she liked that, and I assume with the title called Disenchanted, I assume maybe she's kind of sick of the real world and wants to go back to her animated world. I don't know.
I can't say I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 3. Big fan of the Sister Act films.
I enjoyed them. I still enjoy them. I don't think we need a third one.
Yeah, this many years after the fact. I mean, it's just another, long line of sequels to 80s and 90s films that maybe we didn't need, but who knows? Maybe it'll be
not maybe. We just straight up don't need this one.
They're doing a live action, so they're doing a lot of live action remakes of their animated films. The next in line is going to be Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. Robert Zemeckis directing, and Tom Hanks, I assume he's playing Geppetto.
Straight up nightmare fuel. Oh, the trailer. Oh, it's
no. I think this is different. I think that's the one that came out earlier this week with the Italian guy. I forget his name. I think that's not related to this. That's not Disney.
Okay. Well, still, it's got to be nightmare fuel.
This is probably
the original cartoon was almost a horror movie.
It was. Yeah.
So I mean, this I don't know. I don't know how they're going to soften it up because they're going to have to soften it up somehow.
Peter Pan and Wendy with Jude Law playing Captain Hook.
Yeah.
We've got confirmation they're making a Little Mermaid live action film where when they did Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, you knew Little Mermaid was going to come down eventually.
That's kind of been rumored for a while. Then we kind of knew.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise, which is I assume is done filming, starring The Rock and Emma, I forget her name, but she's another famous. She played Mary Poppins, that actress. And that was kind of a quick rundown of Disney related things. Anything I'm missing here? I know the animated stuff.
The Lion King. They're doing another Lion King
prequel. I thought it was good. I thought maybe they were making a sequel, but it sounds like they're making a prequel. And that might be kind of cool, where you go into the days with younger Mufasa and younger Scar to see that family dynamic.
Yeah. When did Mufasa give Scar the scar?
Yeah, I mean, how long did that bad blood last? That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's so much here. I mean, I'm scrolling down. There's Hulu FX news. There's Pixar news. Disney animation news. I mean,
Zootopia series, a Big Hero 6 series, a series about Moana, continuing adventures, a Princess Tiana series.
Buzz Lightyear. Did you see that one? The Buzz Lightyear one?
No, I missed that one.
Yeah. To find the original story of the character of Buzz Lightyear, Chris Evans will be voicing him. It's gonna be a live. I think it said live action.
Okay. So Chris Evans will be Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't like that. I like Chris Evans, but Tim Allen.
It says voiced by. I could have swore I seen it. Looked like it was like live action, or the way that the trailer looked at the end was live action, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Doug Days, just animated shorts with the Up characters, Cars. They're doing more Cars related stuff. Yeah, so just continuation of a ton of different animated properties. And that's not, we won't even get into it. We kind of mentioned Alien. They're making an Alien TV show with Ridley Scott is involved. But I mean, just the amount of just Hulu and FX, television, for adults. stuff, news that they put out, and how much of a focus that's going to be. Look, man, Disney Plus, they showed up today.
Yeah, and I'm very thrilled. It's like, we go back and forth and what we're going to talk about this show and that show. And usually we're like, crap, I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'll bounce something off here a little later. Now it's like, it's going to be very easy. We're going to have shows coming out. We're going to have content coming out. It's just going to be one after another. I mean, we can do whole nother show on what we didn't talk about today.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be very easy to do that. Like what they're doing with Hulu, what they're doing with ESPN Plus, what they're doing, combining everything, putting ESPN Plus within the Hulu app. So you don't have to actually, jump around. And like we said, there's more information about Star. I mean, we kind of just basically just mentioned that in passing.
Yeah.
So there was, almost, did they go on for 3 hours? I feel like they took a break in the middle and it was hitting us over the head, one thing after another.
Yeah.
And you start getting dizzy after a while.
It was a while, man. So I don't know. It was a surprise for me. I kind of vaguely knew that this glorified conference call was coming. But to the amount of news that they put out about stuff coming to Disney Plus was just, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well,
I'm done talking about it. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. That was much. I need something to drink.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, this was just kind of our impromptu show here, seeing that we got all the information. We will be back with you tomorrow night at 10:30 if you want to see more of these two mugs talk Star Wars.
Actually, talk about Mando.
Yeah, we only have 2 more episodes left. That's sad, but knowing what we have coming, I am very happy. Maybe we'll get some Bad Batch and some Grogu.
Maybe.
Okay, guys. Well, I think that's a good spot for Sean and I to go ahead and end our evening here. And you guys have a good night.
See ya.